hey. Good to see you. Come on in, let's go. Yeah! Let's go! Alright, okay. Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up. First shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy.
Hey, my name is Pete, and I love reviewing the latest tech. Now, I used to own my own IT company until I sold it back in 2020, and I used to only use Apple products until I just got a little bored of them. And you know what? This year is really no different.
Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money.
Now, whatever you think of the S25 series this year, there is no doubt that it's still one of the most popular devices which the majority of people are choosing to spend their hard-earned money on. But so many questions. So I've had this phone now for 30 days since picking up at Galaxy Unpacked, and there are definitely some subtle changes, good changes, to the S25 Ultra that makes this well worth considering purchasing if you happen to be in the market for a new phone. Now, in terms of actually switching from Apple to Android, I'm going to post a couple of videos soon about, well, first actually switching, and then B, how I use an Android phone whilst using like a Mac laptop and other Apple devices still. But switching over really isn't as difficult as you might think. There are migration wizards built in where you just plug your phones together for it to transfer most of your data. And One UI 7 on this year's S25 series acts like so similar to iOS that you can now pick one up and pretty much know your way around the phone already. Now, I will give you a few quick tips for now until I post that full video. Now, use a third-party password manager like 1Password or Keeper. Use a messaging app called Beeper to centralize all your messages, and then use Google Photos to back up all of your photos on both devices. And also use the Gboard keyboard because the Samsung keyboard is just really awful. Now, overall, the experience of actually switching has been a pretty good one. Like I said, One UI 7 definitely makes the change much less painful. Generally speaking, the S25 Ultra is much snappier than an iPhone. I now see the beautiful iPhone animations are actually kind of what's slowing the iPhone down in a lot of situations, like waiting for that, Face ID animation when by then I'm already in the app on an Android phone. It also has better phone reception than my iPhone when in the same place, even on the same network, and it's better at picking up and dropping connections faster as well. Like, for example, when I leave my house each morning and I ask Apple to close my garage door, most of the time it hangs whilst it's trying to figure out if it should be, connected to Wi-Fi or cellular before it just fails. Whereas it works every single time on the S25 Ultra. Now, I'm also currently piecing together a video around using the Google Smart Home features, so again, subscribe if you want to see that one. Now, I have had an issue a few times where when I'm walking and using navigation, the phone can't figure out which way I'm facing, and it's actually a common feature I've seen on the S24 Ultra also, and it's nothing to do with the case that I've been using because I've tried it with both the case on and the case off, and I just kind of chalked it down to a bit of a me problem until I recently saw a video from Zone of Tech.
For some reason, right at the start of our journey, the S25 Ultra just couldn't get my orientation right. Even after I started walking, it just wasn't pointing in the right direction.
So there's that. And also, as I've said before, but it really takes a while to get used to the NFC and wallet payment sensor being further down the back of the phone. As an iPhone user, you don't really have to be that accurate at all when paying or scanning into places. You just tap the end of your phone, and in some cases just waving it nearby the sensor works too. But with the S25, again, same with the S24 and before that, the NFC placement is a little bit more specific, which in some cases means you have to hold the phone out and tap the back. Not a huge issue again, but just rather than just holding the end out like you do with an iPhone. But again, worth mentioning this.
Like the ceiling can hold us.
Now, of course, the display, as always, absolutely beautiful on the S25 Ultra. The newly improved Victus armor glass as well on the front, still with that incredible anti-glare coating, is seriously underrated. If you haven't used it before, there's such a clear difference here. Now, it's also far brighter than my iPhone 16 Pro, even in direct sunlight. The clip I have here doesn't really show the difference that well, but it is very noticeable in person. But with that said, I would say the auto dimming on the S25 Ultra seems to be quite aggressive, and sometimes when you're outdoors you need to manually push it back up again, but it is far better than the iPhone, which again I tend to find just goes a little bit all over the place, especially when you're in a dark place, when it can sometimes blind you when checking on your phone at night. And I'm also, for the first time in a very long time, I'm also yet to scratch the screen on this year's S25 Ultra, which again is something I managed to do on pretty much all of my phones within like days of owning them. So there's also that as well. And so the brightness is even more surprising when the battery life of this phone has once again improved on last year's battery. I'm able to comfortably get to the end of each day with 20-30% plus battery life. And some days I've even gone like a couple of days of light usage without charging at all. It was so good, so refreshing to have a decent battery capacity, because the iPhone's really isn't that great. It's also nice to have faster charging speeds than the iPhone. So even if you are, low on battery, you can charge it up relatively quickly in a pinch if you need to. Now there is support for this new Qi 2 wireless charging standards up to 15 watts, but unfortunately there's no magnets built into the phone itself. Apparently it's too difficult to make space for those magnets, so you have to use a separate case. Now the one I have been using on all my phones for a few years now is a case from MagBak, who kindly agreed to sponsor this video, who have an all-round awesome case for the S25 Ultra. Now, not only does it have magnets, so like MagSafe accessories work, but those magnets are so strong, you can literally stick your phone to any metal surface. Again, it's sounds like a gimmick, I know, until you realize that it isn't. Gym equipment whilst working out, metal rails for selfies whilst out and about, or even just around the kitchen when cooking and on the phone or watching video, or just keeping the phone out of your kids' reach. You can even spin their MagSafe wallet around without it flying off because the magnets are so strong. And there's magnetic shielding, so the magnets don't interfere with the S Pen either. There's also a magnetically attached kickstand, a tuck-away finger loop, and a pinky pillow to make it comfortable for day-to-day use. And it does all the usual raised edge to protect the screen, the cameras, and it even comes with an easy-to-apply screen protector in the box. So you can get a 15% discount and use the link down below. And once again, a huge thank you to MagBak for sponsoring this video. Also, just a note here, I get asked a few questions because apparently I keep talking about MagBak in my videos. Generally, I like their products, and also if you're going to spend £1,300 on a phone, then paying a decent amount for a case, I feel, is really valuable and worthwhile for a case that genuinely I've used on all my phones and I haven't damaged one of them since using their cases. But anyway, of all the things with the S25 Ultra, the one thing that has really impressed me has actually been a usable assistant, like AI or not. Most of the time, it works, and it works really blooming well. Look up the half-term dates for schools in Hampshire and add them to my calendar.
Okay, you want to create these 3 events. Do you want to go ahead and create them right now?
Sure. But then other times, not so much. Look up the half-term dates for schools in Hampshire and send them to James on WhatsApp.
Sorry, I couldn't find anyone called James in your contacts. Do you use another name for them?
James Aslett.
Sorry, I couldn't find James Aslett in your WhatsApp contacts.
James Aslett.
Do you use another...
Literally James Aslett. And I'm also sure you've all seen by now how insane this is with the generative edit feature in photos. You can literally cover half of your face with your hand and it can literally reconstruct your face using AI and do a pretty damn good job at it.
But I've got a beard. Yeah. It must have seen a little bit of beard down there and put it on, but wow.
Compared to Apple, the world's most valuable company. Seriously? And I love how Gemini actually reads the answers out to you.
When was One UI 7 released?
Samsung's One UI 7 was initially released with the Galaxy S25 series on January 22nd, 2025.
Rather than Apple, which just still does the whole
When was One UI 7 released?
Here's what I found online. Or alternatively, shall I ask ChatGPT? Just give me the answer. And whilst I don't really find myself using Circle to Search much at all on a daily basis, I don't personally use translation features because, well, most countries I visit speak English anyway. The AI features are good to know that they are there and they work. I mean, last year I did generally use a combination of the S24's Ultra's insane camera to zoom in and Circle to Search this guy's shoes, which worked great. But again, just day to day, aside from the new Gemini features, I don't really use the AI features much at all. So next up, let's talk about the cameras. Now this year, the S25 Ultra does get a new 50 megapixel ultra wide, which adds to the already incredible lineup of cameras from last year's S24 Ultra. And we are very, very firmly in the age where you'll be pretty hard to push to buy a bad phone in 2025, let alone a phone with a bad camera in 2025. But Samsung, as always, is one of the favorites, and it's quite simply regarded as one of the very best when it comes to photos. Now look, I'm a random dude on the internet who reviews phones. I'm a dad, I'm a husband.
Your camera's really nice.
That's what she said.
And I just need to know that the camera in my pocket is the best that it can be. Like, good enough to capture those moments when kids do silly things, from, you know, midday with the sun in the sky to at night when there's like little to no lights. Now, I'm not the guy who puts phones like side by side and talks about like edge detection and colors representation and how it compares to like a practically identical phone, playing games of which phone took which identical photo. Just, I don't know, the internet seems to go crazy for these things when in reality, most people, they buy a phone, they snap some photos of their kids or fun events they've been to, and then probably forget about it. Maybe they'll throw it up on a wallpaper on a TV or post it online. But you can take incredible photos with anything. An iPhone, a Samsung, a Pixel, a OnePlus, all of them take great photos. Now, all I care about are things like, are shots in focus? Are they clean? And are they not too bright or too dark? And the Samsung's cameras this year are a yes to all of that. Video quality is also really, really good on the Samsungs this year. Like, generally speaking, I don't really have any issues with the Samsung video quality. Now, I know a lot of people knock it compared to the iPhone, but it is really, really damn close now. Now, I am going to leave the S Pen discussion until a little later on in the video, but what I will say here is that I personally don't ever use the S Pen. However, my kids absolutely love the S Pen. Like, every time we're out at a restaurant or something like that, they always ask if they can draw on my phone, even if I've not got the drawable phone with me. And it's a great distraction a lot of the time, when you just want to sit there and have a quiet meal together with your husband or wife. So yeah, still very, very good for that. Now, they have removed Bluetooth and the battery from the S Pen though, which means no more using it as a remote shutter button for taking photos. But again, more on that in just a moment. Now, I've also found myself using the quick briefs less and less over time, but I think it has the potential to be really useful. Like, currently it only tends to show just the weather, my calendar, some photos and a playlist. But the morning is useful as it shows me, how much sleep I got the night before from either the Galaxy Watch or the Galaxy Ring. Now, it would be great if third-party apps could hook into this, like 8 Sleep, my fitness app, so it knows, what workout I'm doing today, my to-do app. But again, not yet. Maybe this will come sometimes in future. And also, just to cover this off, I've never really used Dex either, which is where you can just either via a wire or wirelessly beam this like semi-desktop operating system to a supported monitor or even a TV screen, which can be great at times, if you want to watch a movie from your phone but beam it to a TV. But again, personally, I just don't find myself using it because, well, if I need a laptop, then I'm not normally too far away from my actual laptop. But I can see why it is useful to those who do regularly use it. Now, in terms of switching over to Android, I know a lot of people who watch YouTube are sensitive to that word switching because, a lot of us reviewers just spend our lives switching. Honestly, it's like every other week for me at the moment. But I will tell you, I've switched to this from the OnePlus 13 that I was using before that. Now, I also do carry around an iPhone in sort of a work phone versus personal phone kind of situation. And how I felt after just a week with this phone is still how I feel 30 days later. I absolutely love this phone. And with the abysmal launch, which has been the iPhone 16 this year, and the fact that,
Apple Intelligence
was literally the thing they used to market the iPhone 16, and it's still to this day, not fully available. And yet, here we are. Samsung S25 Ultra with Galaxy AI doing everything right out of the box. Like, no wait lists. It's available pretty much everywhere, I believe. And like I said before, it is miles better than She Who Shan't Be Named.
I don't know what you mean.
Now, I've also been wearing a Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra and the Galaxy Ring, which Samsung also gave to me at Samsung Unpacked, along with the phone. And both of them are really, really great. Like, I can't really find fault with the Ultra Watch right now, but I've just come to realize that I just prefer Garmin watches at the moment. Now, last week I was sent this Phoenix 8 to review, so I've been wearing that for the past week, and there is so much to love about it over a Samsung Watch or Watch Ultra. But if you must have a smartwatch, then it's a great option. Now, I do really like the Galaxy Ring. They've actually hit a good one with this product. The data that it gives you, how it works with the watch and disables sensors so that it doesn't double up to save battery life. The battery life is good. And I absolutely love the charging case on this thing, like how you can close it, throw it in your bag and just not worry that your ring is just, flung around on the inside of your bag. I genuinely don't know why other ring manufacturers haven't copied this design yet, because they all just have the same style right now. Now, I've also been using the new Powerbeats Pro headphones with this phone. Zero issues whatsoever. They've actually replaced my Beats Fit Pro for now. So they are now like 2 pairs of headphones that stay in my ears without falling out. The Beats Fit Pros and the new Powerbeats Pros 2s. Although, I will probably replace the silicone ear tips with some memory foam ear tips when they're available, just because they just fit so much better with those in. And my laptop, at least for now, will still continue to be a MacBook, although I am just about to review a new Asus ZenBook, so look out for that video on the channel. And perhaps maybe even a new MacBook Air will be out by the time this video gets posted. So overall, my experience has, and really will with Samsung, always be good and reliable. But like I said before, there are some issues which, especially this year, I'm really struggling with. Like the S Pen, for once. Like I said, isn't really a problem for me because I didn't use it. But you literally remove Bluetooth and the battery from the S Pen, then change the design just enough so the S24's S Pen won't click in all the way. It kind of feels a bit mean and pointless. But not even that. They didn't even remove the charging coils from inside the phone, which either means they're going to upsell you a Bluetooth S Pen later for an additional cost, or they're just plain lazy. You've also got Qi 2 wireless charging. They support the standards. They're Qi 2 ready, but don't add the magnets into the actual phone because apparently there's not enough room. So how has Apple done this since the iPhone 12? And then the new Gemini / Bixby AI assistants. Firstly, still no support for it in Android Auto. It is coming in some point in the future, but still not yet. Secondly, still doesn't work reliably enough for it to, actually be reliable. And it all came down to like this moment. Like I was in a restaurant and the bill came to us. I thought like, the moment's come. I can use like a Galaxy AI. And like I was at the Snapdragon Summit and they showed us how this, awesome feature with the new Snapdragon 8 Elite chip was. Again, at Samsung Unpacked, they showed us how epic this feature would be. Same feature, but to my not, I guess, really surprised face, this is what actually happened. So I took a photo of the bill and I asked Galaxy AI how much I needed to pay.
I had the burger and a Coke. How much do I owe?
But it couldn't realise there were 2 burgers on the bill.
That's the price for 2 burgers. I only paid for 1.
30 quid.
You are absolutely right. My apologies. I misread the quantity.
And this is really where the issue is with AI right now. Like, why go through this whole process, then battle trying to get AI to give you the right answer, only for it to still be wrong? Like, you may as well just bring up a calculator, just like everyone else on my table was doing around me, and get the right answer the first time in a much faster time. And this isn't exclusive to Samsung. This is kind of where we're at with just AI in general at the moment. When it works, it's amazing, but it just doesn't work like 80% of the time. Like, check out this conversation I had with ChatGPT. I have a custom GPT designed to help generate wallpapers for my thumbnails. So I need a teal and orange themed wallpaper for an LG 45-inch Ultra Gear monitor. Cool. Here's the wallpaper. That looks good, but please can you remove the image of the monitor and just give me the wallpaper? Sure, but the wallpaper doesn't have a monitor in it. Look, can you just try again? There is a picture of a monitor in the wallpaper. Oh, okay, sure, yeah, I can remove the monitor and provide just the wallpaper. Here you go. Oh, cool, okay, this looks much better. Like, can we have a different design on the right? It kind of looks a bit too much like there's a problem with the image due to this like line and the design on the right-hand side. Oh, yeah, sure, I see what you mean. Here you go. I just need the wallpaper, please. This one has an image of like a monitor and a desk and speakers. Oh, my bad. Let me fix that for you. And this is what's next. Like, seriously? Oh, so is the S25 Ultra a great phone? Absolutely. Like, if you are coming from an S21, S22, or even S23, then I think you will love this phone. And I think the gap between iPhone and Samsung, and well, just Android in general now, is kind of non-existent. It really is just a case of personal preference. But I think the issues for me with the S25 Ultra is, whilst it is a great phone, it's also been a bit of a miss at the same time. Like cameras, like are they great? Sure. Are they the best? No. Well, the battery life, great, sure. The best? No. This phone, overall, good, yes, but great? Oh, I don't think so this year. Like you see, the first phone I picked up this year, actually it wasn't even this year, it was November last year, was the OnePlus 13. And the first thing I noticed with the OnePlus was how incredibly thin and light it was, with incredible battery life, that also fast charges up to 100 watts, which is more than twice as fast as the S25 Ultra because it's using this new battery technology. So when I've been using that phone for 2 months and then Samsung hands me this S25 Ultra, honestly, my first thoughts were, wow, this is heavy, it's bulky, it charges slowly. There's just lacking innovation. We've got brands now like Vivo with the X200 Pro with an insanely high quality set of cameras. So I guess I just can't really complain with Samsung, who already has one of the best set of cameras out there. Just tweak it slightly with upgrading to a 50 megapixel ultra wide. But just all of this like combined, like removing the S Pen features for seemingly no other reason than cost cutting. And the biggest warning sign I saw that also makes me think that others are also thinking the same this year is when, as a content creator, various affiliate programs start offering absolutely insane commission for anyone they can persuade into using their affiliate links to buy an S25. Now, one email I received said I was one of their top affiliates. And do you know how many people have bought one using my link? 2. I would say that Samsung has gotten very, very comfortable this year. It's quite obvious when you get to be in my position, getting to try out all of the latest and greatest for what all the other brands have to offer. The advancements we're seeing with brands like Huawei and Oppo and OnePlus and Vivo, when most of the world just thinks there are 3 phone brands: Apple, Samsung, and Google. Now, we all know Apple has gotten comfortable. They've refined their iPhone as much as they can until the huge fumble with Apple Intelligence. Samsung is most definitely comfortable and in their refinement age right now. Like the S series, the Flip, the Fold, broadly speaking, are the same every year, but that's because they are good phones. Like the Pixel is the only one I think really smashed it out the park this year with their Pixel Pro Fold 2s and the Pixel 9, 9XL designs. Not to say that a huge redesign is needed every year for a phone to be good, but the competition is definitely coming out to compete here. Now, what I will say to anyone who is considering this phone this year is, are you currently bored of using an iPhone? Then try the Samsung. It's a great phone. You're going to love it. Now, if you are using an S24, don't upgrade to the S25 unless you must upgrade every single year. Something I didn't mention in this video, but pretty much all of the AI features on the S25 Ultra are coming to previous devices along with One UI 7. So there's that to consider. But if you are kind of where I am, I was bored of the iPhone, so I picked up a Samsung. Now feeling a little, not bored, but just disappointed with Samsung this year, try the OnePlus 13 for a phone that came out last year. It is very, very impressive.
There we go back. This is the